Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundung. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220 941414 bcsresidence@gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundung, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
APS letter. Ndemu APS letter. APS Gambia lemu APS. Katun APS is 100% Gambian.
Bari nyati mwete kufuri mbala kentala di. Ke nyati mbondari taba futu wola. At least it ya fonte ko APS min kullo balbiji. Imo fon fonya fon ka fonyo ko ibina do ibodo ko APS jam fane mo fana fonya nyati mbo. Yo min fo enda sija. Ndanga moyro ko APS wallet isa kodo kino. Min tata fo wuli muang ime charge fenna wala nta sindija.
Ako. Nyati mbo. Nko yiko kabo transito. Katawula fo wuli muang. Ite fenne dola. Womu zero feel between kabo was 20,000 la kasele san eke tamuna eke charge mun fa abuka fensi wait 1% na malam mati
wota yara gabe no be nyanta wala kana APS wala tele mobile ko ka ko do ki ibadi ngol
ya jele ni APS kabrin nan credit ko to bari men kum mayata be wala fa mo kas pawat ni suto be during suto be dibining abe tema biti kol sonanda ila APS mobile lo sika ni asika to ya safe da men ko 24 ndi nawek ha ni oto jeje nyamendo tachi ama ni ama doron abanta ila kas power isa hawafima ajibe free joriti je
wata mbade ngameno albesito wulle fisiyata alna leta APS wallet yela lam baylo kon APS wallet nyaata doro barin koto nim fata do suwo kon to ru
Ngi be fo no le mol ñala jam. Ni fa da so ko no mbafo le.
basi ti jembita ndori gi sajede
Abanga.
kadu sa APS 100% namum
APS 100%.
APS
Gambia 100%.
Hello and welcome to my newest show on Fatou, Chapters with Fatou, a new initiative that I came with just to look at the people, the heroes, the individuals behind the big stories. And of course, we have so many Gambians who have stories to tell, stories that will inspire you, the young generation. And of course, there's no other person to start with. My brother and friend, Honorable Sarjo Barrow, a Gambian who started from Banjul, from Dankunku, of course, and of course went to different places in the Gambia. He will tell us his story. And of course, to the United States, where he started from the bottom and rise to the position of a judge, an immigration judge in the United States of America. I'm not sure if there's other Gambian who did that, but I think he's the only Gambian who made it that far in that kind of field. And of course, there's a story behind who Sarjo Barrow is. And today, it's with him I start this show with Chapters with Fatou. Honorable Sarjo, it feels so strange to call you Honorable though.
Call me Sarjo.
But,
I don't like
I mean, that's
phenomenal.
the title though. That's the title. But again, you as my brother, as my friend, and somebody who helped me and my family as an immigrant in the US, and we went through so many things. So it feels so strange to call you honorable, but I think you rightly deserve that name. Welcome to Chapters with Fatou, and you're my first guest on this show.
Thank you. I am privileged and honored to be here, to be the first guinea pig for Gambians.
Yeah.
I will not qualify myself as the best Gambians in a series that is monthly, profiling only 12 Gambians in a whole year.
Yeah.
But I take this privilege to a point where I'm honored,
Yeah.
I'm grateful, and I hope I do the guest most sincere service by telling my story,
Yeah.
and then hope that if even one Gambian is aspired,
Yeah.
and then to become or achieve more than me, I think I'll be content. And then the goal is always to inspire young generation. But having said that, there are Gambians that have achieved well in the US. We have a close-knit community
Yeah.
that we interact, people doing in private practice, not in public service, and then doing extremely well. So I wanted to put that disclaimer out there,
Yeah.
that I'm not the only Gambian abroad raising the flag high.
We have so many Gambians raising the Gambian flag high in all parts of the world.
Yeah.
But and like I said, this show is to highlight 12 Gambians every year in different fields, just to inspire the young generation. And I think immigration is something that everybody wants to embark on. We have seen the backway journey, and the reason is people want to be like the Sarjo Barrows. They want to be like the Fatou Bombensoudas. They want to be like other people in the UN systems and, in different fields. So they need to know also how it all started. How did it start for Sarjo? Where is Sarjo from? Where did he start in the Gambia? Let's start from there.
Thank you for that. I know I'm no stranger to Fatou. This is home for me.
Yes.
And then several years, almost a decade ago, and then I was honored and then privileged to be a guest here.
Yes.
And then my story is, I believe, common now.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the time when my name is not even recognized, you gave me a platform.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's only appropriate I just reciprocate that.
Yeah.
But I was rather born and raised in the Gambia, in Dankunku to be specific, where I started my elementary school. And then eventually my mother, she's a civil servant, development worker. And then fast forward, I find myself in Jara Pakalindin, which became another home for me and my siblings, because my parents reside over there. So Pakalindin was home, where every holidays I'll be in Dankunku. Dankunku is part of me, very much attached. It has a special place. But I grew up in Pakalindin. That's where I did my primary school up to grade 6. And then I completed my junior high at Pakalindin. For high school, a bit of both. The goal was to go to Newsrod.
Yeah.
And then not only Newsrod, but only to be in the combos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come,
Yeah,
obviously.
every up kids, after 6th grade, you see others going to combo, coming back. It has some kind of nostalgia that you wanted to be part of, to be honest, if I am very honest. So that was one of it. But also Newsrod is somewhat, even though it's a mission school, it resonates public in terms of affordability.
Yeah.
But that pivot, so instead of Newsrod, I went on Nasir. That's where I did my 10th grade, because my mother was posted there.
Yeah.
So I never even arrived in Newsrod.
So you went through the grade 9 system, right?
Yes, we were the first batch.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
the same batch as me.
Yeah, so I remember vividly when I was in the 6th grade, I selected high school, because that's what my mother's want. And then we were told that the education system has changed. Gambia changed it, and now it's going to be a grade system.
Yeah.
So I have to go to Pakalindin Junior School at the time.
Yeah.
That was very alarming for my mother, because at the time we call it SecTech. It doesn't have the best of reputation.
Yeah.
And then my mother almost freaked out. She had to walk with me to school the next day to verify that actually this is something that is true, because she wanted me to pick high school.
Yeah.
So, but I'm grateful for that experience. And then I went to Nasir, completed my 10th grade there. But before I finished, my mother was moved back to Pakalinding again. But I was left behind to complete my 10th grade, eventually returning back to Tahir, where I graduated from high school before coming to Combo. And then the goal was to go to the University of the Gambia, and I tell this to young kids.
Yeah.
And then at the time, Gambia University was at its infant stage. The requirement to join, you must credit math and English. And then I was unable to gain entry. And then this is to let other people know that you can always pivot.
Yeah.
And then I flunked math. And then I have to resit it. But to avoid a break, because at the time my mother, she believed in education very well. So I have to pivot and then pick HTC, Higher Teacher Certificate.
Yeah.
And then while I received math. But fast forward, before I completed 1 year, I ended up becoming a runaway teacher, and then I find myself in state.
Did you teach? Did you teach at any point?
No, I have not even, I only completed, I think, up to 1 year at Gambia College.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I left my colleagues over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you had to go to the United States.
Yes, I traveled to United States. And then there's a big misconception about the United States, the ideas we possess. You know, one thing I said of United States that they are able to do through media, they are good at selling their image.
Yeah.
As a young boy around Pakalinding or even up to college, U.S. was able to project these dream, the new world. You come there, you work hard, you get education. It doesn't tell you the intricacies of, adapting to a new land.
The American dream.
Yeah, so they sell you this fallacy like everything is green on the other side. No one explained to you that it's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging. You have to integrate and then make sure you can settle documentarily. And then also education is expensive. You don't know all of these things. You thought that, the moment you abort the flight in Banjul, your lives change. Well, your lives change one way or the other.
Yeah.
Your life will change. But it's not as easy as we saw on TV. So I think that's a big misnomer. Once you arrive there, you have a wake-up call.
Yeah. So how was your transition like? Your first day in the U.S., how was it from Dankunku to Pakalinding and, of course, to the Combos? But then in the Big Apple, how was that? Was it in New York first? Because that's where a lot of us go to, right?
I transited through JFK, but it was Maryland.
Maryland.
That was my first state. And I'm very much grateful for a brother. He wouldn't like me to give him a shout out, Omar Ba, but basically he hosted me. And then he was kind. And then he showed me the ropes. And then I was very driven. I have this insatiable quest to get an education. And then he always would tease me, oh, I never see a sorcerer who want to be this educated.
Who wants to be this educated?
Yeah, so, but he's a good man. And then he showed me a few ropes, what to do, what not to do. I'm very much appreciative of that. You're a young man, you can slip, make mistakes.
Yeah.
But he was well-grounded, and then he knows what he wants. And then he was very observant. He taught me that it's okay to be timid. It's okay to be respectful. It's okay to turn your back, and then understood that you don't have to be brave. So he showed me that. You don't have to get into fights. You don't have to prove a point. And then it's smart to walk away. So I think he was the first one I learned that from. And then that kind of stick with me. But it was December, my first experience with snow. And then it was freezing, some of which only my wife would know how I react to that weather, and then close family. But it was quite an experience. But also, it was an adventure. Yeah, it was an adventure. To be honest, when I still think about that day when I landed at Ronald Reagan Airport.
Yeah.
And then, looking back.
Did you say I made it? Because I remember one of my friends when we were in the UK, my auntie actually, when she came to UK and we were in Slough, we got to the airport and said, Baba, I'm going to make the England. So that stick with us, because in those days when you travel out, you're like, I made it. Was it a feeling when you got to the airport? Was that kind of feeling that you felt at that point?
No, that was not my experience. I think for me, I was more concerned about the unknown. While we are at Tahir, we had this Peace Corps who introduced us to computer. The first time I learned how to use computer, she introduced us to computer, a group of us, about 6 people. And then when she was ready to leave for United States, we were invited to a party, and then she cooked a favorite American dish, and then I tried that. I think it was potato stew or something. I could not swallow it.
Wow.
And then the only thing I can think of was, if I traveled to America, would I have rice, damada? And then that was the only thing that could stick in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was kind enough to say, well, when I first arrived in the Gambia, they gave me damada. Let's just say that was some experience too.
Yeah.
So that was my concern. I love food. And then I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But United States surprised me that things you eat in the Gambia, you can eat over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Maryland.
Yeah.
So I was grateful for my host, Omar's brother, and then his wife, and then the family over there. They opened their doors. So unlike most people, I felt like I walked into my home again. So my living condition was very comfortable. I spent about 3 months over there, and then the desire to pursue my education saw me leave for New York to join my cousin who was there at the time. And then that's how my story pivoted from Maryland to New York to go to school, because the first school I supposed to attend, I ended up transferring to a community college, which is more affordable, because once you arrive, reality hits you. So I went to hostels at City University of New York to do my associate degree over there.
So as an immigrant, you are not yet a home student. How was it like to be able to pay your fees and able to also take care of yourself in the U.S.? And most of us, what we deal with is we have to take care of family back home. Also try to get yourself educated and then pay your bills there also. Was that something that you had to deal with at that early stage?
Yes and no. Regarding, was it difficult to pay school? Extremely. And then the only head start I had was my parents never bothered me with money. Not because they have it, but I think my mother fundamentally understood that education is far more important than sending money for her to be comfortable. When I left this country, I left my parents. They were renting. When I left, after a few years, I believe my mother was posted in Combo. She was renting here. And then I never recall she calling me that, hey, send money, let us build a house, I want to move. No. Anytime she calls, she want to know how you're doing in school. Are you staying in school? And then the belief is whatever you can do now with education, you could do it faster. You'll get there way faster than if you just wanted to continue working. I think she understood that. And then she project her own limitation she has with education. And then she has to self-teach. She doesn't have the luxury or the opportunity to go to school until 12th grade, go to university. So she was a late starter. In that sense, I believe she was living vicariously through us, forcing us to go to school. So I'm very much grateful for that. But you still have to work, even though community college was a little bit more cheaper. I still have to pay international fees,
yeah.
And then those cafeteria works at school never cut it.
Was that your first job?
Yeah, those were the things you were doing over there, cafeteria work, until I think the first summer break, I have to work at a Dollar Tree. That was some experience. And then it's so funny. They don't ask much of me, but it was one of the most difficult jobs I had to do.
How? Why?
Yeah, all I have to do was stand at the gate, back check. If people are coming, you give them a ticket and then you hold their bag before they enter.
Yeah.
I thought that was easy peasy.
That should have been an easy job.
No, I stood there after 15 minutes, almost collapsed. And then I wondered how come, they keep saying, our military is Gambia, the army, they stand guard for 2 hours before they change shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my body have to condition to get into that. It's it took me some time to break into that mental agility and then, withstand that. But after a week, the human body is resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you figure out how to do it. They put you in a box where you could barely move 2-3 feet.
Yeah.
And then ask you to stand there for hours, just checking bags. It was the easy and yet the most difficult job ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was some experience. But that's what I did, and then most people, until I earned enough credit. I never graduated with my associate. I just transferred to a 4-year college at John Jay College, and then where I completed my undergraduate degree in 2010. And then after that, I was able to finally pursue my dream to go to law school, and then graduate in 2013 before I wrote the bar, and then the rest become history. I don't. Yeah.
Wow. So was being a lawyer a childhood dream? How did you choose to study law in the U.S.? Was it something that you had thought about whilst you were in the Gambia? What inspired that?
Yes, I do. When I was young, I was very inquisitive. I loved the law. Everything I reject about the law now with the Gambia, in the interest of candor, that's what I love, what I aspire to be. Yeah, the colonial relic they handed down to us, the wig, the gown, those bow ties.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. And then for someone coming from Dankunku, we have Lawyer Mboj, who was from Dankunku,
Yeah.
a magistrate. So we have someone we can see ourselves in, the power of representation. And then after he left the bench and then was practicing in private practice, we always yearn and crave for him to come to Mansakonko at the magistrate court to hold brief because we want to see him argue. So me and my friend sometimes will sneak out at high school to go to magistrate court to see how lawyers handle brief. I love everything about, those old English as well as, the arguments that are relenting, everything about seeing lawyers stand over there, especially the Nigerian judges, well articulate, expressing their point, and then most importantly, using legal jargon that, after going through this whole reorientation, I hate, I'm a sucker for plain English. I call it plain English for lawyers. And then I read a lot about Ghana, Brian Ghana, Scholars. I love brief writing, and then law school introduced me to that, plain English for lawyers. you have to know your audience.
Yeah.
And then if you don't know that, you lose the battle.
Yeah.
So that taught me, and then I understand that experience. So Lamin K. Mboj was very influential. And then the former VP, everybody hear of him. It would have been a privilege to see him in practice in Masakonko. There are times when we hear that,
Who was that?
Lawyer Dabo.
Oh, Dabo, yes,
yeah,
Dabo, yes,
he will
yes,
hold
yes.
brief, and then we'll hear that Lawyer Dabo is coming.
Yes.
Everybody would go to court, but somehow they would never come because there would be a conflict in another court, in Combo. And then I thought that was the norm. Until now, I know better, like, the things you can do in Gambia and get away with.
You can do, yeah.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen him practice?
No, but I read about him, and then I'm of the opinion that he's the leading constitutionalist in the Gambia.
In the Gambia, yes.
He argued more constitutional cases or take cases that have fundamentally changed constitutional jurisprudence in the Gambia.
Yes.
Next to him right now, who is doing that would be lawyer J. Dabo.
Lamin J. Dabo.
And then lawyer Fati, A. Fati, Abdullah Fati, I've seen that, to taking those constitutional cases.
Yeah.
The only thing I hope, as I aspire to be these people when I was in the Gambia, like the Borituras from provinces, that's another one that we look up to. And then, of course, we know he's from the up, so we can do it. The lawyer Davos. I only wish something is written about him, like he does a lot of writing in jurisprudence.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I wish we have of lawyer Dabo. I don't want him to be another Justice Marshall who I loved, and then I write his opinion.
Yeah.
But he writes some articles up ahead, but like no biography.
Yeah. You think he should do more of writing? Because when I was doing his documentary, I was amazed by the number of cases this man has done and how those cases have become you guys call it jurisprudence in our country. And a lot of the laws have been dictated by some of the cases that he has done. And UDP versus this, Lawyer Dabo versus this. A lot of that is in our legal framework now, and he's one person who has changed our legal, our laws so much. Do you think he should be doing more of writing, or have you seen the documentary we have done for him?
Yes, during the presidential election, I loved that. That's why I think it would be a missed opportunity for Gambia if we don't tap into his intellect in terms of jurisprudence. Gambia has no shortage of intellect.
Yeah.
And then one thing, for instance, Chief Justice Jallo.
Yes.
He's written extensively. I bought his books, I read it, And then the latest book I bought, someone told me about that book, I think The Pursuit of Justice. So I'm reading it from his perspective, time in Rwanda.
Yeah.
And then I read his book on evidence. Those things are really, really good. I like to see Gambian authors write book that way the young generation could read and then understand the law. They serve as treaties or restatement. Like, if I want to draw a parallel, when I was going to school in New York, in Michigan, law school, you have the case book, what we call your primary book, the full of cases, how you learn the law, appellate laws. But there's a lot of restatement, compendium, articles, treaties that you read to actually understand the law. It's like having a primary statute that National Assembly passed, but you have regulation explaining those statutes. So those books are important. And then the former Honorable Jambe, I think it's the former Attorney General, Usman Jambe. I read his book. He was also written. I love it. The late Fafambai. He's written extensively. And then my own sister, I wanted to kidnap her, bring her back to Gambia, Satan Nabane. She's written extensively. Every book she writes, I ask her to send me to read it. Sometimes, I see things, I'm like, I don't know. It made me pause, but we have to argue about this. If it is a feminist movement, we'll have those arguments. But that's what I wanted to see, because the younger generation can read and learn from that.
Yeah.
L.S. Camara right now, arguably he's the doyen in criminal law in Gambia here.
Yeah, yes.
It would really, really benefit a lot of young lawyers to understand there is a big difference between paper law and trial law. Law school is abstract. What you learn, these are tools. It gives you tools to use in real life practice. But sometimes there's a big disjoint between the paper law and trial law. And then it is experience how you learn, you fumble, you make mistake, you learn from those things. So for people that have been doing this day in, day out, they make mistake, they learn from those mistakes, they see what work, what doesn't work. So it's very beneficial to this younger generation. Now, Khadija Jallo will benefit from LS camera.
She's
but how
getting
many people,
so experienced
yeah.
right now. Khadija is like top
Yeah.
notch now.
She is one of the rising
Yeah.
stars in Gambia, in my opinion, in
Yeah,
terms
she
of
is.
criminal law.
Yeah.
And then I think that's why I want most of the senior baristas to start writing
start
and
writing.
then giving more time in mentorship.
In mentorship.
Yeah.
Now, we'll come back to Gambian law because there's so much we need to look at, because I see you write extensively
Oh, yeah.
opinions and issues about what is happening in the country. But I want to go back to New York. When you finished law school, you did your bar and obviously become a lawyer in the U.S. Why did you choose to do immigration law? And how was even doing the bar in the U.S.? How was that like?
Well, unlike the Gambia, where you actually go to bar school, bar school is like U.S. We don't have that.
Okay.
It used to be how the Gambia does it. Sometimes in the 60s, U.S. pivot.
Yeah.
We used to have LLB. You do your bachelor's of law at the university. When you finish, you go to bar school. But U.S. changed the way law school is handled, and then they model it as medical school. They want you to spend 4 years undergraduate to be well-rounded. You
Yeah.
do your general requirement, your majors, be free, explore whatever you want to explore. Once you finish, there's an entrance exam, what the law school admission test that you do, LSAT. Once you complete that, you go to law school. You spend 3 years in law school just learning law, no other subject other than legal writing that you will do, but all law, pure law, no other subject like math, science, no general requirement. So by the time you graduate, you receive a Juris Doctorate from law school, just like you receive a medical doctorate in medicine. So that's U.S. They moved to that model because they want lawyers to be well prepared for the practice. Once you graduated from law school, there is no such thing as bar school. You write an exam. That is, we have two components of it. One at the federal level, which basically is a 200 multiple choice question, multi-state test in federal law. And then day two, depending on the state you are in, you will write the state-specific exam and what we call MPT, model practice test. They would give you where you are in this closed universe, like real cases. They want you to opine on it, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I think bar school in the U.S. is more about endurance and discipline. It's difficult. You have to study over 20 areas of law, and then you are asked to write a 6-hour exam the first day, and then it's time. So it tests endurance.
Wow.
The prep was difficult because you never know whether it was enough. And then for myself, even though I took a bar prep course, the law school helped you with that. I never seems to finish the prep, the model questions. So I was so worried that I would never finish. But by the time, usually maybe I'll have 2-3 questions left, and then I was very much worried. But at the time I went for the exam rather, I think I finished almost 30 minutes earlier. So I realized that they were intentionally designing the fact pattern and the question much longer than the actual exam.
Yeah.
Because they want to test your endurance. Can you stay concentrated and disciplined under time pressure for such a long period of time? Because you spend 3 hours before you break and then do another 3 hours. So that's what they were testing, because law school is about, you need to persevere, you need to endure. So that's what about. And then I was fortunate enough because I prepared very well. There is no other way doing it. You have to prepare, you have to read. And then my goal was I need to pass the bar the first time. Because if you write and then fail, it becomes increasingly harder to pass. Because now you have self-doubt, the pressure mount on, so it becomes more difficult. So my goal is go there and then knock it out once. And then with the help of Allah, that happens.
Yeah.
But in law school, I never contemplated that I would do immigration law, even though I took immigration law as an elective. But will, trust, and estate, I took those classes as my, I call it the backup plan. It's a safe bet.
Yeah.
I took bankruptcy, tax law, trust, and estate, because they are very practical tools where you could develop planning for most of the prospective client without much engagement in the courtrooms.
Yeah.
So that was my fallback, and then I took all those classes, hoping that if plan A fails, and then I will pivot to plan B. My plan A was I was going to do criminal law. The reason was we have a very good criminal law professor, and then one thing I learned, criminal law is fast-paced, a lot of motion practice in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's less writing. And then law school was very rigorous, and then you have to do a lot of writing. So I was like, okay, this is going to give me a brief. I don't have to do a lot of brief writing.
Yeah.
So criminal law was the default.
Okay.
And then it's a lot of motion practice, and then I was like, I'm not going to do appellate law, I'll do criminal law, I'll go to public defenders. By the time I write the exam, when I get out of law school, plan was to go to New York, but I applied for a job in Wisconsin, so I pivot. So I had to write the bar in Wisconsin. So that's what I did. And then arrived in Wisconsin, wrote the bar, and then the plan was to work. The job I applied actually went away, because the one I applied for was with the state.
Okay.
And then whether for budget or whatnot, that went away. But I already pivot and then transferred my bar over there. So I wrote my bar regardless, completed. And then I decided to stay in Wisconsin when I get barred over there.
Okay. So why immigration law then?
Because I started my own solo practice,
Yeah.
and that's one of the other things where I'm very much opinionated about here. Because when I graduated,
Yeah.
and then I was in Wisconsin, there was no home state, and then I applied to several jobs. Every one of them I applied to, I immediately would receive letters, interview lineup. Because once they see my transcript, my grade, they were like, "We want to see you." Every one of the interview I attended did not end up a job offer. So I had to Google myself. And then lo and behold, I realized that Barrow is a common white surname.
Barrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cities in the U.S., counties named after Barrow. Law firms Barrow. I was perplexed, and then I don't understand how come Barrow, that I thought was very unique, very Gambian, very African, is such a common white surname. Oh. Yeah. So I was like, The last interview I attended was insurance. They need an attorney for claim adjusting. So when I arrived, the receptionist said to me, "Hey, we only have one interview today with one Mr. Barrow." I was like, "Well, that's me."
Oh, that's me.
And then at that interview, so many senior lawyers, partners came out to interview me. I think they could not believe it's a brother that saw up. Maybe they are expecting a different skin tone.
Yeah.
That was my humble opinion. So after that interview, I made a decision that, no, I'm going to open shop. I'm going to compete. And then they will come knocking on my door.
So even with that qualification and all of that, you were not able to get the job right away?
No, not right away. Unless if I, at that time, if I applied to be maybe a prosecutor or a public defender at the state offices, that would have been much easier.
Yeah.
But that was not the plan I had at the time.
wanted to work for
And
the law
then
firms.
their recruitment period has phased because they hire at a specific time. So I just wanted to go into private at that time. Private law firm. I was not thinking of working as a prosecutor for the government or even public defender office. So that window shut out until if I want to wait until their next recruitment the following year with budgets and everything. So for the law firms, I decided that I'm going to open my own shop. I will compete, and then we all have to, we all, wrote the same bar anyway. So that's what I did. But I was doing mostly criminal law. I did few family cases until one that become highly emotional, the outcome. And then I stopped because family law is very difficult. It's good people at their worst behavior. Criminal law is bad people who generally are nice because they need second chance at life.
So you started practicing criminal law first?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was doing. And then what I was taking most of the time was I was taking appointed cases from the state public defender's office. When they get conflicted, they gave me those cases. So those were the cases I was taking. But as I took on criminal cases, I realized that most of the clients are either some people, Hispanic background, black and browns, Africans, even in the Wisconsin area. So sometimes the state will offer a very good deal where if they are U.S. citizen, that would have been fine, no jail time. We call it a first offender program, where you do certain programs and then the charges get dismissed, no conviction. The problem is, under federal law, it counts as a conviction for immigration. So a lot of people are getting stick with these plea deals, and then it ends up putting them in immigration proceedings. They are losing their green cards, getting deported. So every time I pick a case, the story becomes familiar. So I have to make sure there's no collateral consequences for immigration. Anything, any type of deal or outcome I'm getting in the criminal law, I want to make sure it's also protect them in immigration. So I have to be thinking ahead. So the more I take on that, so I was taking immigration cases. So I started pivoting. Even with my immigration law background at law school, that wasn't sufficient. So I have to self-teach at that time. I don't have a mentor. And then I remember when I opened my farm, I opened with, at the same time as one Gambian brother, he's doing amazingly well, AJ Jaite. He does personal injury, serious injuries, workers' compensation, wrongful death stuff, medical malpractice. So we spoke, and then I let him understood that I wanted to go immigration route. And then he had very good advices for me. And I was like, and then he was right. And then he was right. And then personal injury, the other area, you can protect your money. Immigration, 9 out of 10 times you're dealing with people who are vulnerable. Maybe they don't have enough money, and then you could get stiff at the end of the day. And then that do happen sometimes, but I wanted to help people. And then if I see a problem, I know that I can do something about it. And then the only obstacle is money. I could not help myself, so it was self-destructive. I have to take on the case because I was like, no, I can do something about it. I have the skills. So I was taking on those cases. Eventually, I get towards immigration more because sometimes you fight, that's not enough. So you have to litigate in federal courts. So the more I take on immigration cases, they become very demanding. The more I win out of criminal cases. So mostly maybe someone will come, they have a criminal issue, I will advise, okay, let me talk to your criminal lawyer to make sure whatever outcome is coming, it doesn't affect your immigration status if you're not a U.S. citizen. Or businesses, sometimes I will look contracts, their pleadings, and then help them just to make sure I strengthen that. So I was doing that. Family cases, I was taking them, but after a while I stopped. I think after 3 years, because some of them get messy. And then one case stood out. I remember a friend of mine called me, was like, oh, I hear from someone in Italy stating that you are the reason they left the U.S. for Gambia. I was like, really? Wow. But I remember that case very vividly. I was like, well, that was not me, that's the law. And then you have to pay support, maintenance. And then I let the brother know that I don't want this to go to court, but I have ethical obligation. I'm representing the other party. It would be nice to settle this. But sometimes, us men Gambian, we can be very arrogant, entitled. And then I sensed that. So we went to court, and then the outcome was substantial. So the brother decided that, okay, I'll check out.
I can't afford this.
So after that, I was like, I don't know whether I want to be in that business. So I get out of it.
So immigration, because it can be very emotional. You said it's demanding. Cases take longer than many other cases, but also emotionally, you have to deal with your own people. People can be very vulnerable dealing with their immigration status, and you being the lawyer, knowing what is possible and what is not possible. What stood out for you during this period of doing immigration law, especially dealing with Gambians, the Senegalese, and people from the sub-region?
Well, I know the first thing they teach you is don't get emotionally attached to a case. All my cases, I do the opposite. I try to be emotionally attached. That way I can fight as if I'm the one sitting on the side of the V. So that's how I approach it. And then dealing with our people, especially Gambians or Senegambian, there's a lot of cultural barriers. It's difficult to get all the information the first time. So you have to know and understand that you will be surprised by facts later. So you have to prepare for those contingency plans. And then what made it difficult is sometimes you see good people with family, and then for whatever their situation is, somehow our legislature or Congress did not catch up to that scenario, that specific scenario, meaning the law does not cater for a relief for them.
Yeah.
And then you have to find a way. That's where it's most difficult in terms of law. Take a given fact and then try to fit it in one of the laws. So sometimes that can be challenging. It could be emotionally draining, spending time. I think immigration actually made me think about the law. Law school teach you the law, but immigration actually made me to think about the law. For the first time, to actually review the statute, understand the words, and then expand it, because it's not going to address everyday problem, but it gives you a framework for you to use it. So I think immigration forced me to actually think about the law, because immigration intersect with constitutional law and national security law. And then as the justices will dupe it, it's one of the most complex area of law next to bankruptcy, because it's purely code and statutory based. So that's what made it difficult. Different areas of law interacting at the same time. But I think the challenges are sometimes managing expectation. The word attorney and counselor at law comes to play in immigration law, because you actually have to manage people who are afraid. You have to reassure them, but at the same time managing their expectation, and then telling them what to expect. So those are difficult moments. And I do have fair share. I take on cases, I detain cases, brothers from Sierra Leone, Ghana, or even some Gambians that I know back in the days. At the time, we don't have these surge of backway syndrome. But back in 2013, 2014, there were a few Gambians that trekked through that route.
Yeah.
And then there are some I could not save. The damage was already done by the time I pick up the case. You work as hard as you can, and then still that's not enough. And then you have to see those people return home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen a case too where someone living in the U.S. for so long traveled back on his way back, and then got entangled. And then the family called me. I rushed over there, and then the law was unkind, and I know I could not do much. And then I had to talk to that guy to return home rather than be detained for so long.
Oh my God.
Because he was already married, and then coming back. Yeah, that was one of the difficult times, because I was in Texas doing other detained cases, and then they called me with the removal officers negotiating what he's going to do. And then I talked to him. I was very candid, and then he accepted going home. And then he did spend some time with the family. I don't know, depending on what side you're on, but after some time back home, he ended up passing, and then the wife called me. Yeah, so that was really, really difficult. Sometimes these are real people, real stories that you have to deal with. Yeah.
So how has that emotionally been like? I know in Trump first time there were a lot of deportations, and I remember talking to you often about these cases, because we were doing so many programs about that, and you had so many people that needed to come home, and it was very emotional. It was stressful. I mean, me doing programs with some of these people, and then imagine you having to deal with those cases, making those decisions, telling them, look, you have to go. How do you prepare clients for scenarios like that?
It is difficult, and then people want to hold on the idea that there's always hope. There's always that 1% chance that something may change, and sometimes it does.
Yeah.
And then was I able to pull some Hail Marys in some occasions? Yes. And then I know first time was not as demanding as this time.
Yeah.
Without going into policies, but when I was in private bar the first time,
Yeah.
a lot's changed in terms of policies and laws, but I think your program helped proactively, because we get the message out, and then people understood their risks, and then people understood what they need to do, and then many people reach out sooner than later.
Yeah.
So while we do have people who were returned home, I remember, some of whom you interviewed on your show, overwhelmingly many stayed.
Many states.
Yeah, because I remember people on order of supervision, when the first administration came in, I had to accompany them to their reporting requirement. In some cases, I have to file federal habeas petition to have them released. Other people were detained, but they were never sent home. And then at the time, to the government credit, to the late ambassador in U.S., Fadera. Yeah, they do observe due process, and then I was very much appreciative of that. The government will comply if you exhaust every legal step in the U.S. and then you're a Gambian citizen. Yes, they will accept their citizen, but they make sure there is no collateral or legal matter pending, and then they make sure they review those appropriately. And then, I don't want it to be taken out of context or endorsement, but at the time, the Progress reader, my brother Amadou Jade, I had so much respect for him, and then he was the one who was there helping, and then he makes sure Gambians that are in the U.S., their rights are protected, and then if he must, he would go and then verify, interview. So I'm very much appreciative of that.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I don't think he, in fact, contemplate that he will ever be running for president.
Yes.
But sometimes it's good to do good work because that's something I know, I observed personally that he did. And then that's something I can corroborate and then verify. So he did good work and then make sure that Gambians, under the international principle, they receive fair hearing and then due process before anything is done. So he did some good work over there, and then I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you did most of your cases pro bono. I know that firsthand myself because I have my family, friends, and so many other people, and I would call most of the time, any day, anytime, any hour, just to ask immigration questions, and without no payments and all this stuff. I don't know. That only happens with somebody like you. No one can do that for you for free in the U.S. But how did you stay for that long? Because immigration law, practicing immigration in the U.S., especially when you have so much Gambians relying on you to help, and then we also know how we pay. We pay in 300, 200 in bits and pieces just to make sure we are able to do a good payment plan. How sustainable was that financially, and you had stayed in that for so long? How sustainable was it financially?
I mean, in as much as I did a lot of pro bono, I know I received recognitions from the State Bar of Wisconsin consecutively, 2014, 15, but Gambians also supported me. Yeah. And then on your platform, media houses supported me.
Yeah.
And then Gambians also pay. But I think at the time my focus was not on money. Wealth is a relative term. I was paying my bills, and then I was smart about it. There has to be a delicate balance. And then I think some of those work you did, probably they add value to me, make me more humble, appreciative of life, and then probably some of those kindness pay back how I progress in my legal career. I have to be honest about that. In as much as I was helping, Gambians also reciprocate. They help me in one way or the other, where there would be genuine prayers. People will text me out of nowhere. I don't remember them. I'm like, thank you so much. I just get my residency.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, did I do something? Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't remember that, because it's so often. Genuinely, people who were genuinely happy. And then I help others where I did not even remember it. And then there is some truth to, if you do good, good come back.
Come back to you.
This brother would not want me to give credit to him.
Yeah.
But I helped him. I went for a case in a city. I'm not going to name the city. And then I was helping 2 people over there. Those cases resolved. While there, he approached me. He had other issues he was concerned. So I was like, all right, I'm going to stay for a day or 2 extra. not in a hotel. He gave me a place. I was like, fine, I'll accept it. So I helped him, flew back to Wisconsin. A couple of years later, and then, because I never changed my number.
Yeah. No.
And then I received a Zelle payment, $1,500. I was like, who made this mistake?
Yeah.
So I called back. I was like, you probably don't remember this, but I just want to be grateful, what you did for me. My family came. And then later, another money. I was like, no, you don't have to. I did that.
Yeah.
But genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I seen those instances. And then there are instances where you also get frustrated because some people want to be wise men.
Yeah.
They have the means, and then they just want to be smart. And then those things are there. But to be honest, Gambians supported me. And then after 3 years into my practice, because what I learned the hard way was that running a business is not the same thing as practicing law. I was practicing law, but I forgot that I have a business.
You had a business.
Yeah, that was my biggest mistake. No one teach me that you are a CEO.
Yeah.
You should be having a bird eye view, making strategic plan, how to make the money. You shouldn't be involved in the machineries or the day-to-day, because
Yeah.
you lose that, you no longer the boss on top.
Yeah.
So I have a skill. I was seeing myself a lawyer instead of a businessman. And then that was my shortcoming. But by the time I completed 3 years over there, I moved to a law firm, because a law firm saw what I could do, and then the book I have, they brought me in.
Yeah.
And then when I pivoted over there, I was still able to help Gambians, but it reduced a little bit because their fees are more structured, and then they have a system. I still take on pro bono, because when I joined them, I have certain consideration that I wanted to do at least 50 hours of pro bono every year,
Yeah.
and then they agree to those things. So it's give and take until when I pivot to government in 2019 eventually.
How did that come about from private to government? Is it more money, or how did that happen, that transition? Because from being the defender now to being the decider,
Well,
right?
yeah. Not now. Before, if you're in a courtroom,
Yeah.
whether immigration court or federal district court, U.S. government attorneys are really, really sharp. They command authority.
Yeah.
And then these are people who do the same thing day in, day out. So if you're going against them, you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
When I started immigration, I don't have the mentors that I wish, I had at the time.
Yeah.
But I did not relent. I read, I studied, I make sure I cover all bases, even though I would not know how much is enough. And then some of the cases, in hindsight, I took at the time, even though I won, I should never touch those cases, because they are more complex. It's like graduating from law school, starting criminal law, and then you decided to take attempted murder cases or murder cases. I don't understood the magnitude of what I did, but I believed in the brother, and I know he need help. He doesn't have money.
Yeah.
At the time, that kind of cases in 2013-14 would cost you about $25,000, $30,000. You drop that. If you're lucky, maybe $15,000.
Yeah.
So I took on those cases, and then I get positive result. So that boosts my confidence a little bit. But going against government was difficult. These people, I want to know what make them tick. So someone came to me with another case, frustrated. They work very hard earned money. Something from a legitimate source. They send the money to, let me put it, because I don't want to, this individual receive money and then send it to a country. And then the first money went through DHL. The second one came, sent it, substantial amount, over 50, 60K. And then custom and border protection intercept the money.
Yeah.
Because when the first one went, they seen it, but they leave it deliberately because they are tracking it, trying to see
where it
if
is,
they are funding terrorists or whatnot. The second one, they confiscated it. They went to seek help, went to the senator's office, but all these things are time-bound. Before he knew it, the money was forfeited. And then, in my mind, that's incredible amount of money. This is for something important at their home country. Came to me, and then I was like, oh man, I felt like this is DOA, dead on arrival. Because we blew the timeline, but I know there's a lot of injustice there. And then I was like, well, one of the avenues I can pursue here, you went to the Senate office, they have a legal team.
Yeah.
They should have advised you, they could help you that there's a clock on this thing and it ought to move.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reach out to them to see if they could use their office and then talk to the government to return your money. They kind of bully me, and then I'm not a fan of being bullied, and then I hate bullies. I guess that's one of the reasons why I get into law.
Yeah.
So I emailed them back. I was like, well, this is the law. You dropped the ball, and then I'm going to file a lawsuit. And if I have to come after you, I would. You're young, going to ruin your career. I laughed. I was like, I immigrated to this country with $200 in my pocket. What do I have to lose?
what do I have to lose?
So I filed that lawsuit against the U.S. government in the district court. The prosecutor saying it was like, the AU said, you're not going to win this. I was like, well, we'll see. Discovery will tell.
Wow.
So we did pleadings. We filed those things. And then it was set for a scheduling conference. So the government lawyer came to me, was like, all right, look, I see where you're going with these things. The money came from a right source. We don't want to litigate this. I was like, okay, I'm listening.
Wow.
Yeah, and then long story short, I was like, how about we fine your guy a penalty of $5,000 for failure to disclose because you have to do the CAF.
Oh my God.
I was like,
you're like, that's...
Yeah, I was like, we'll take that.
We'll take that. That's...
And then, we settled. So the guy get his money.
Wow.
Did that, and then similar one of that also happened. I know our people are incorrigible.
Yeah.
Someone made something like that too. Huge amount of cars did not declare at the airport, panicked, confiscated. So I had to do that to recover it. But at least I already have experience on this one, so the timeline, so we are able to get that.
Yeah.
But after those two cases, conversation with them, they were like, you should join us. We want you on the other side. I was like, okay, I'll think about that. But I also have a good friend who she's doing amazing in the private practice, and then that we'll talk about careers, prospect, in Cali. So when I went there for my AILA 360 conference, we had a conversation. It's like, you know what, I'm going to move to Cali. But at that time, I wasn't thinking government. But I met a couple of government attorneys over there, one of their supervisors. And I was like, okay, I'm going to apply. So I applied. I went and interviewed. I want to stay in Chicago area, but long story short, I joined Homeland Security for their human rights division team.
Yeah.
So the goal was to go there 2 years to learn, see how the government operate, how they think. But the work became very interesting. And then there's so much opportunity for growth, learning. And then I'm very much grateful for that transition because it's changed how I see things, how you litigate. The resources they provided me, the training, the mentoring, it was incredible at the time. A lot's changed, but at the time, the training, the mentorship was extensive.
Yeah.
So 2 years turned into several years, and then I kept growing until now, yeah.
So you started first because you were, when you were at Homeland Security, it was more about interviewing people, right?
No, actually, I was actually litigating cases.
Litigating cases for government.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, how did you just transition to become a judge?
Well, immigration judges are under Article 2. U.S., everything is kind of divided. We have Article 3, which are federal district judges, Supreme Court judges. You get nominated by the President, Senate confirm you. Article 1, those are bankruptcy and others where Congress give you a fixed term, 13 years, because they want to make sure there's separation and then no control or monopoly. So Article 2, you get, that's a merit system. And then it's not by appointment. It's competitive. Everybody has to apply, and then you go through interview. So when I was at DHS, I was doing a lot of human rights work over there, and then with the National Security Division, prosecuting individuals who committed human rights violations, people that are considered national security threats, and then they're applying for protection or they receive one, we are filing to remove them from the country. So that work exposes me to cases, some that I can even talk about because of the clearance issues. But it helped me to draw a parallel with what was happening in the Gambia during the second regime.
Yeah.
And then that kind of reinforces me to continue that kind of work because I want to learn about it, and then I want to make sure people that commit such coming out of the neckwood of the Gambia don't get the same kind of protection because it's only fair. So by the time I was there, most of the judges appeared in front of were encouraging me, hey, I wanted to write a letter of recommendation for you. You should apply for this thing. I cannot promise you anything, but I think you have the temperament, you have the skill set to make a good judge. I was like, okay, I'll think about it. So one after the other, eventually I was like, why not?
Why not?
And then I applied. I went through several rounds of interviews. Eventually, the first time it should happen for me, this was 2022, because when I interviewed.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, my boss came to me and was like, you're not ready. You are too young. You can't do this for 20 years. You'll be out of your mind. And then she was like, you're not ready. I have good plans for you here. And then stay with us. And then you'll grow, and then you could go to HU area in Maryland. I was like, okay, because they call half reference check.
Yeah.
So I passed on that, so it doesn't happen. Transition from San Francisco to DC area, I was working over there. So I met who became a mentor, Judge William. He was one of the longest serving judge on the bench. So when I came in front of him, we had a conversation after. It was like, he always called me, Sarjo. Like, have you thought about the bench? I was like, yes, actually, I passed on in it last time. I was like, well, I think you should renew that now. And then another judge who was a good mentor there to turn out to be a good mentor also encouraged me to do. So I went for the second round. I did not hope they would pick me because of what happened in the past.
Yeah.
But I went through all the 3 interviews and then became the last standing candidates, the people they picked. So this time I accepted. And then I think it was the best decision I made. I do agree with what my boss told me previously. You can't do this for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then most judges come in when they are 50, 60, just 10 years, because it's very demanding. The work is too much. And then I'm still young, growing. But at the back of my mind was, I want to try that experience. I want to understand. I want to have a bad eye view. Instead of having a position, being an advocate, let me also sit and then decide these cases in person and see how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
And then with that experience, I can take it somewhere. So that was the plan. But I was cognizant that that's very true. I don't want to do that for the next 20 years and retire.
Yeah.
And then you do it too long, it defines you as you're an adjudicator. It's very difficult to pivot. So I started, but it's one of the best experience to use the position on the bench. And then I'm grateful for the doors it also opened.
Yeah.
Just taking that leap of faith to try something difficult and then challenging. And then I was scared too, because you have to make difficult choices.
Yeah.
But it also comes with opportunities and the doors it opens.
So I want to come to, before I come, the transition from a public defender to now prosecuting on the other side for government, and then now deciding people's fate. Yeah. These 3 stages you had gone through. Would you say your experience as a public defender helped you in all of these roles that you played up to today?
Absolutely. It helped you understand the other side, how they are thinking, and then you also understand how government attack cases, but at least to strike a balance. And then as one of my judges, a mentor would tell me, being a judge is you look to the left, you look to the right before you cross the street. You have to listen to both sides. And then they all have a position. I can understand that. And then sometimes their position may not be... being an advocate, you can get away with certain things.
Yeah.
What I call, you could just do a loose side to a brief where you leave something out that might hurt you. You're supposed to be honest about it if a case hurt you. But I have seen those things in brief. But you're no longer an advocate. You just looked at the facts, stay within the law. And then if you employ that one rule, one cardinal rule, where you just looked at the evidence, nothing else, nothing more, as I would tell people that come in front of me. My role is to listen to your testimony, look at the evidence in this case, and then it's only that evidence and the testimony from which I make my decision. Nothing else, nothing more, meaning no surprises. You stay within the bounds of the record, period. And then it's difficult sometimes if you employ that rule to every case and then you don't cut corners. you sleep better. But once you start cutting cases because you pick and choose individuals rather than the facts of the case, or this guy seems to be a nice guy, let me give help, that's where you run into trouble. You just looked at the law, in as much as it's difficult, you just do it. And then also, to most people, that might be their first experience with the judicial system, or their first welcome in a foreign country. So you represent the people. How you treat them speak to how that country is.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have to make sure they feel comfortable. They feel respected in that courtroom. They feel heard, even if I make a decision that they did not hope or wish for, but I explain to them why I did what I did. And then 9 out of 10 times, they understand it. They may not like it, but they appreciate it genuinely. And then most of the time, they would tell you, thank you for hearing me out, because most of them, they just want to have their day. And then I think that's the only thing I learned, where regardless of where your station is in life, you have to treat people with dignity, with respect. You know, it doesn't matter where they're coming from, but you have to give them that basic human decency. And then sometimes people would do terrible things, and then you could let them know, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying with the facts in front of me, I'm only limited to this. Probably you're a good person. Maybe you did more good than bad. But with what's in front of me, from a discretionary point of view, your bad is more than your good. I've seen those things. Okay. There are instances where I will find people to be not credible witness. And I'm not saying you are not a truthful person. I'm just saying, since I'm bound to what you tell me and what's in front of me, I did not find you credible. Yeah, that way they understand those distinctions. So you have to explain it to them.
How have you stayed grounded to these principles, even though you are an immigrant yourself? You went through same processes that now you are taking decisions on. How difficult has that been for you? I am sure sometimes you're like, oh, I went through this. You know, a family member of mine went through this, but I have to apply the law here.
Yeah, I think fidelity to law, you cannot have that shaken. Yeah, you have to have complete fidelity to the law and then the rules. That's the only way out. And most importantly, you have to protect your bar card.
Yeah.
Because you work all these years for that, so you have to protect the bar card. Yeah. So you have to have absolute fidelity to the law. And then even when I was a prosecutor, I have more, you have discretions. Sometimes I would submit memo if I think something is worth of a discretionary review, and then they may agree to it, they may not disagree to it. But if you're a judge, you don't have that luxury. You just call balls and strike, that's all. Whatever comes in front of you, you looked at the facts, you do it, and then you move on. But to maintain fidelity to the law, you have to know that any day you make a decision, someone's life's change, whether it's for good, for bad.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to recognize that, because if you don't understand that at a fundamental level, you start treating people as numbers. Yeah. So I make sure I remember the names in my cases. I don't just get emotionally separated from them. That way I understand it dawned on me heavily that the kind of decision I'm making, that way I do it right. So that was important to me. Yeah.
Interesting. The day you were sworn in as a judge, your mom was there. Yeah. Your family, your wife, and your baby was also there, right?
Yeah.
Throughout this conversation, you have spoken about how your mom was focused on you guys getting educated. Would you say you are who you are today because of the sacrifices or the efforts or the encouragements that she had done?
Oh, yes, I absolutely will say that. I think because she did not have the luxury of formal education. When I said formal education, I mean like if she have it her way, she would go graduate. She has to do it later. And then for someone who was pulled from school at 6th grade and then have to self-teach through her brothers and then eventually do diploma courses, find her way all the way where she went to, it's a miracle. And then I guess she want to make so we get a head start, not like that. So I think she understood that because she experienced it. So she was more aggressive to education than my old man. For him, he gave me more or less a fair attitude. If I have it my way for him, he's not going to scold you for not doing well in school.
Yeah.
The only thing for him, I think I became an avid reader because of him too. In that, he loved BBC. He listened to BBC. I remember as early as 4th grade. if I want something, he will tune BBC, Focus on Africa at 4:30 GMT.
Yeah.
Like, if you can tell me what they are saying, you get what you want. So I was training to even understand a word of what those Brits are
saying.
It's so difficult, but it made me to be inquisitive. Something I'm grateful for, because what I have learned throughout my years, writing, reading, seeing the commentary, even in public spaces. As Gambians, and I say this with the utmost respect, Gambians are not inquisitive.
Yeah.
We are not curious. We want to be a busybody in people's personal life.
Yeah.
But Sarjo Barrow ke buko kono, they will never get it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a reading problem culture or comprehension, but we are generally not inquisitive.
Yeah.
And you have to be humble enough to read and learn. You have to accept that you will learn from people, people will learn from you. And you can only do that through respectful dialogue and, agreeing to disagree on issues.
Yeah.
People don't want to read.
No.
If you think people will do video, I mean, you could get away with that on TikTok, make a couple of money. But I'm not going to take advice or prescription from a guy who is not a medical doctor.
No.
The guy who spent days, night. I'm not saying you are not going to make guesswork that will happen one or twice. But I'm going to take my bet with a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I said professional too, even as professional, we each have to stay in our lane.
In our lane.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can have a general idea about things, but you cannot be an expert in everything. So that also requires humility. So that's something I want to see, that culture change. I think in Gambia we have more female who aspire to read, aspire to understand, embrace education, even though fundamentally it's difficult for them to break that barrier.
Yeah.
For male child, we have the opportunity, but we don't want to utilize it. That's my observation. Yeah.
So your mom was very inspirational in getting to where you are today.
Yeah.
Now, from your experience in the U.S. legal system, and I think this is very important, I want to touch on that briefly. We have seen the travel bans and all the things that are happening in the sub-region, in obviously 75 countries, right? We have a ban for 39 countries, which Gambia is included in. Recently, there was a case that our brother Omar Ba, his team and others have filed. Now, what is our situation, particularly the Gambia now? What do we look out for? Us trying to immigrate to the U.S. right now, or Gambians in the U.S. who want to bring their families to resettle with them, or those in the U.S. who have pursuing their green cards or citizenships. What is the situation right now? What do we need to know?
Well, I should have made this disclaimer here in my personal capacity. I don't represent any agency of the government, but I'm clothed. Part of government employment also prohibit you from certain policy discussions.
Yes.
But black letter law, let me put it this way.
Okay.
The ban did happen in December of 2025. And then in January, it was extended to the countries you include, meaning even immigrant visas, like those who are filing for their family members' green card or even regular visas. You cannot travel. And then those that are within the U.S., if you become a beneficiary of a petition, they will process it, but there will be no decision. Adjudication was withheld. Now, Brother Omar, their agency filed a lawsuit in Rhode Island, and then I believe the district judge, George Jones, vacated the policy as unlawful. So for now, it's out.
Yeah.
The question becomes whether the government will appeal.
I want to come here before you move, because I was talking to a friend. We were looking at this, because there was a time the Supreme Court did rule that injunctions will not be nationwide. I'm not sure, that's what my friend reminded me, because I was celebrating when this ruling came, and my friend reminded me that there was a ruling, and I saw that. I think I sent you that ruling, just trying to verify. Injunctions will not be cannot be nationwide now. It has to be restricted to the
district
or where it happened. Now, with this ruling, I know it was not an injunction; it was vacated. Will that Supreme Court rule still applies to this?
No, because there's a difference between if you enjoin a policy while litigation goes on.
Okay.
If you vacate a policy, it has no effect. In fact, what's striking, the judge went further to even define what vacating something means. It's a nullity. It doesn't, there's nothing to enjoin.
Okay.
It's out.
Okay.
You can appeal it. If you appeal, you can ask that the policy be reinstated until litigations end, but we don't know yet. So I haven't checked whether it has been appealed yet, but it has been vacated. There are policies where litigations were filed, and then the court would, the parties would ask for emergency TRO, and then after a hearing, it will turn into a permanent injunction. And then if you enjoin a policy or a statute, it doesn't make it unlawful. It doesn't go away. It only means it temporarily suspended. You freeze it in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me put it like, let's say, ye jobon rek janakata moy fenko temperature turn and then I freeze that into glass.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it disappears. Still there is ice.
Yeah.
But it's not moving. And then if you vacate something, it disappears automatically. Yeah. Okay. So that's the to dumb it down for a layperson. So there's nothing to enjoy. It's completely removed.
So what exactly what were they seeking? What did the judge vacate? Because does it have to deal with like family resettlement or just the people in the U.S.?
The policy in the U.S. may allow adjudication to people who are not adjudicating. They would only review the applications, but they are not going to make a decision.
Yeah.
At the time there is a pause, vacate that part.
Okay.
Meaning it's okay.
Now, if you have applied for a green card, the process will go on.
They should make decisions on those. And then unless, of course, if there's a specific reason, decision technology, if it is for security reason or whatnot, you cite that too, and then the parties can appeal that, or they could see if they wanted to challenge those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's some good news until we hear that.
Until appeals
over. But so far, then processes can go through.
Yeah.
People can have decisions. Okay. Now let's come to Banjul. We have a few minutes to wrap up before we go. You have been writing a lot of opinions, especially recently, about issues in our legal system. First, after the transition, obviously, the Second Republic, a lot of people believe that our judiciary, there have been a lot of cases, it was not Gambianized. Now we have our entire, Supreme Court is all Gambian judges, right? Just the Chief Justice, and we have a lot of judges in the High Court, Gambian judges in the High Court, the Justice Jaites and others. But there's still some challenges. In your opinion, what is the situation of our legal system right now?
I think the Gambian bench is Gambianized, just to borrow your phrase. And then the issues the judiciary faced during the Second Republic is not there in terms of press or from the government. Those things are not there anymore. The judiciary is independent. Yeah. They can do what they want. The government gave them that environment. Now, I have argued when Gambia happened in 94 and 97, we transitioned into a constitutional republic. On paper, we are a constitutional republic. In practice, we still maintain the relic of colonial rule from England. And then there's a mismatch. We are saying this is what we are now, and then the way we continue to practice is how UK practice. And then that works for UK because they're a parliamentary system. We have fundamentally different system. Now, procedures and form, we can all be common law. Our judiciary could be influenced by common law. There's nothing wrong with that. But being influenced by common law is not the same thing as the procedure be that of England. That's where my argument is Gambia need to remove or vacate itself from that position. Before 2025, most of our laws, even the procedures, somehow bridle the judges or even advocates. It's so old school, conservative, rigid to a point that it makes it very difficult to achieve justice. That's my observation, and then that's why I've written about it for so long. The protests we see from people where people will be detained for extensively long time, and then hearing will take 3-4 years, you can't do anything about it. And it's because that's the way the rules are designed.
Yeah.
And then the practice is designed in such a way. And most importantly, judiciary, I think they still need a lot of resources.
Yeah.
They need a lot of resources to get a head start. Ghana and then other countries comparatively around here has changed. Gambia until 2025, the criminal procedure code we have was from 1933, before we even became a republic. 30 years, almost 30 years before we become a country.
Wow.
And then the language in that rule is that the High Court of the Gambia, let's say Justice Jaida, one of the most doyen justices here,
Yeah.
it state practice inside Justice Jaida's courtroom should mirror exactly like that of Her Majesty's courtroom in the UK.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been okay if we all spend weekends in UK and then come back. How is a lawyer in Gambia, never trained in the UK, practice that mirror exactly like that of Her Majesty's courtroom in England? Because that's how they are doing it. Now, the older generation, VP Dabo and the others, they might be privileged to know how things work over there.
Yeah.
Because they went to Nigeria, and then maybe people who are older than them landed from Nigeria, or we have in the First Republic, lawyers from England, attorney generals from there, all that stuff, and then tell them how things are done. But if 90 to 95% of your lawyers are trained elsewhere or don't practice in that courtroom, you're asking them the practice must mirror exactly like UK, I think that's a mismatch. But most importantly, even judging by that language, the practice should mirror exactly like that of Her Majesty's Court before we change in 2025. Well, UK's changed.
Yeah.
In 1984-85, they came with a criminal justice amendment, and then a lot of changes happened in UK. If the language is we should do exactly as Fatou is doing, Fatou's changing, then we should do what you're doing now.
Yeah.
But we never did. If you want to try that, probably they will tell you, no, this is not how it's done. But you said I should do exactly as Fatou did. Well, Fatou is doing ABC now. Why aren't we doing ABC? So this is some of the examples or the things that I want the younger generation to be inquisitive about, to think respectfully and say, okay, this is not working. Why can't we change it to make it more friendly, to make it more just,
Yeah.
to open access to court for the little guy? Those are some of the things I want them to experience. And then to at least, it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
No one have a monopoly on law. We all keep learning, we learn from each other. But I think our culture is important, but sometimes could also be an obstacle to growth.
Yeah.
Because disagreeing with elders might be frowned upon as a sign of disrespect, even if your position or viewpoint is right.
Yeah.
So I think for those that are in position of authority should have the humility to welcome those comments and then invite them rather than make them afraid to share their opinion and then say, what do you think? Okay, this may work. Let's maintain that. This change, that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But not hold on to something and no one can justify why we can change.
We can change.
Other than this is how we've been doing it.
We've been doing- yeah.
I think we have passed that point where education has been forcefully indoctrinated into Gambian culture. We have a university. We have a lot of young graduates. So people should think for themselves now. And then that's what I want to see.
So one thing I know we have always spoken about in the U.S., for example, when policies, decisions are made or laws are passed, you see civil rights groups challenging it and making sure nobody pays for this. The civil rights, that's what they do specifically, just to go and challenge unconstitutional laws, things they think they are not the best practices. And I think that is why even today, America cannot, even with the way people believe, the belief we have about the Trump administration, every single thing that they have brought have been challenged. Some have gone through because they had gone through the process up to the Supreme Court, but a lot of them have been challenged and they have been thrown away by the courts. This happened because civil rights groups have gone out to challenge this. And we haven't seen a lot of that in the Gambia world. We have seen 1 or 2 cases, Gambia participated and others, even, the election, the diaspora thing, Coach Pasamaja and others have challenged that. But we haven't seen a lot of this in the Gambia. Do you think this is something that we should push? And what do we need to do to be able to make our society even more stronger when it comes to laws, to be able to challenge some of these things?
I think we should do more, but the obstacle is money.
Money.
Yeah, because you need money to challenge some of these policies. Now, Gambia Participate and others, they may have funding.
They complain about funding too.
Yeah, so litigation is expensive.
With the USAID and other American donors going away, now things are very tough here as well.
Yeah, U.S., most of those organizations, they have good funding. People donate.
Yeah.
Wealthy people will donate because they believe in such causes. So Gambia, if we have wealthy people or people with means or even regular citizens contributing $5 or $10 monthly, as, okay, you know what, I'm going to be donating $5 every month to Gambia Participate because I believe they stand for something, or the Edward Francis Small Center with Madi. I'm going to give a monthly subscription of $5, to make sure they continue to do what they're doing. Maybe that would help. That way they would have a little bit, and then lawyers that are interested in public interest litigation can help with at least nominal fee to challenge some of these issues, because litigation is expensive. And then, as I said, I learned the hard way. So if you're an attorney from a business point of view, you wouldn't challenge. The distinction in U.S. is we have what you call equal access to justice fee. You sue the government, you win. They pay you your legal fees.
Yeah.
So if National Assembly incentivize that kind of legislation here, you put those legislation, that way government proactively and then in good faith bring policies that are just. That way they don't just bring anything they want, because they will understand that if people sue them and then win, they're going to pay legal fees.
Yeah.
So once you put that kind of carrot and stick balance in our process, in our laws, I think a lot of lawyers will be willing to take on those cases, especially if they think that a policy or a law is fundamentally fatal. They will challenge it, and if they prevail, they ask for attorney fees, and the government should pay.
You have also seen in instances where protests, people are arrested, and then our law says the police must, they have up to 72 hours, but must they detain people for 72 hours? These are laws that a lot of people, me including, believe should be abolished. Why do you have to keep somebody for 72 hours when there's nothing to investigate? Sometimes people use it just to intimidate people. Defamatory laws we have seen where journalists have been sued. I don't know how that's going to make our work easy now that you have to think about lawsuits and all that stuff. Yes, we want to be responsible people also in society. There have been a lot of things. We have this policy that the government is trying to implement with social media platforms that is more to muzzle the media and stuff like that. All of these things are emerging now. What do you think we should do as a society, and obviously people in the legal system?
Well, the protest one, I think the 5th legislature and then the 6th one right now, currently they are doing disservice to Solo. I think that Public Order Act ought to go.
Yeah.
I've written about it. And then I understand that it's still the law of the land because Supreme Court upheld its constitutionality.
Yeah.
I do respectfully disagree with the decision.
Yeah.
I wrote about it. I'm not going to go into legal jumbo, but that's my opinion. And then people are free to write about it. I'm not saying I have a monopoly over it. But the later decision by the Supreme Court, Emil Ture and the other media houses made me further convinced that the initial decision was in error with respect. And then that's my position. But most importantly, we don't have to fight about judicial interpretation. National Assembly has the power to remove that.
Yeah.
They removed 91D when they know their position was threatened. They changed age limit. They did a lot of things.
Yeah.
The least they could have done, put a notification requirement. A lot of protests happen peacefully here. So the culture of fear should not be there. That's my position. Democracy is a messy business. And then I'm not saying that some people may not hijack good causes. But that's why you have criminal law to punish them.
Yeah.
Do it that way. But Public Order Act should go. Some of the media laws, I don't agree with them. I've written about it. And then I think they create, they stifle dissent. And then people start to self-restrain. And then what we call slap litigations in the U.S.
Yeah.
people wanted to get out of lawsuit because Gambia lawsuit is viewed negatively.
Yeah.
To avoid it, they might just decided to self-legislate and then get out of it. Oh, I don't want to be sued. I don't want to get into these things. The media, even the controversial media regulation that came, I've written about it. My thinking is, and then that's my position, you can regulate the airwave.
Yeah.
That's limited. That's how it should be done. Airways should be regulated.
Yeah.
You don't regulate the individual journalists.
Yes.
No one has, for lack of better word, the fear to say who is a journalist, who is not. Now, some people, we can look at someone and say, okay, that's an investigative journalist. That's a traditional journalist. This person is an opinionated columnist.
Yeah.
Yeah, people could go to YouTube, do whatever they want to do. It might be under the umbrella of journalism, but it doesn't mean they are traditionally journalists.
Yeah.
And then they may not even be following all the etiquettes of the profession, but they have a First Amendment. Well, the Gambia, our Bill of Rights from Chapter 17 to 33,
Yeah.
they have the right to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with them as long as they are doing it respectfully. What I want to see, regulate the airwave. Because unlike the US where you have cable, I can tune into CNN, but I pay subscription to see what's happening there.
Yeah.
Gambia, people could spew anything in on internet rather, and then even a 5-year-old can have access to it.
Yeah.
You regulate the airwave, you regulate that individual. Because you don't have a cable where there's a subscription, we can foreclose children from having those views. Regulate what could be put in the airwave, have those legislation. That way YouTube, Facebook and others will make sure whatever content you have is appropriate for that legislation.
Yeah.
And then that would be fine. And then make sure that host where they are putting this platform, if anyone is opening account, they have credible information, identification, wherein if they commit cyberbullying or other crime, those information with a court order, they if you want to operate within our space here, if you get a subpoena from the court or an order to compel to release those information, you will. But there's protection, everybody could go to court.
Yeah.
We can do that there. That way we protect the vulnerable, the young, the children, the women, and then promote a culture of decency, but still promote safe space.
Yeah.
That's what the EU GDPR did. But I think it's a missed opportunity. Hopefully parties come together and then rethink about it and then do it the right way. Is it FDR who said the only thing we fear is fear itself?
Yeah.
I want Gambia to get out of that. Everything should be, we are afraid. We
We're
want to
afraid.
be,
Yeah.
What are we
I
afraid
mean,
of?
every time you want to protest, they say, no, you have to go apply. We have to investigate.
Yeah,
And
so-
then when we have peaceful protests, it becomes very peaceful and nothing happens. But when you deny them permit, then it becomes an issue.
To be honest, I don't even know Gala was celebrating their anniversary until I saw it become the, what's her name, the Barbara Streisand effect.
Yeah.
I don't even know it was happening until when I saw the denial.
When they were arrested and denied. you
Yeah, I
know.
was like, oh, they probably would have happened. Most people would not know.
And the 2 other times that they had issued their permit, it went well and nothing happened.
Yeah, so I want police to revisit that, and then I think they should, if I were the police, the presumption would be for a grant unless otherwise.
Yeah.
Anytime a permit is requested, you can regulate what we call time, place, and manner.
Yeah.
If you tell me you want to go to Westfield like 8:30 in the morning and protest over there, absolutely not.
No.
We might redirect you to buffer zone
Yeah.
because I don't want you to block traffic. People are going to
At
walk.
that time, yeah.
Yeah, so you can regulate what we call time, place, and manner on a constitutional point of view. But a blanket denial.
That's
Yeah, so that's my thing. But I think it requires education, dialogue. That way everyone knows free speech is not absolute. But at the same time, the way con law is taught in the U.S., year one, you learn about the structures. Year two, they teach you individual right, state right. These are competing right.
Yeah.
How to balance it. Entire con law too is about that. And then some things you agree, some things you don't agree. We have to find something that works for Gambia, keeping in mind our cultures, and then some things might be good, some things might not be. So that's my position. I'm not afraid to admit that some things are wrong, and then we ought to change it. Yeah.
Now, finally, in a system, for example, we have seen the situation where a judge issues an order and government denies to implement it. We have seen, for example, in Bora's case, I made example of that every single time. The simple thing, give the man his phone. The judge, the police, up to today have not given him back his iPhone. Bora says, "Yena telephone sunyal," and that's, I agree with him, because the judge has given that order. In the instance where the judge says government should pay this particular person, in Nene Frida's case, on 2 or 3 occasions, the government ignores those orders. Usainu Bojang's case, we have seen, and that case, you cannot just even the AG has admitted that was unlawful, illegal. The AG says that, and nothing happens. No heads roll, nothing. No accountability, no investigation. Who gave the order? I kept asking myself, who gave that order? Every single post I did on Facebook, I kept asking, look, who gave the order to take this guy back to mile 2? But the AG admitted that, it was illegal, it should not have been done. Nothing happened. In situations like that, as a country, when the government, or the law enforcement officer who is supposed to maintain law and order, they themselves are violating the order, what happens to the citizen? What do we do as citizens?
Well, it's difficult, but the answer is in the law. We still must follow the law to get what you want. Now, one thing I recognize, and as much as I'm very much opinionated about these issues, I've written about it. The government, from 2017 to date, they have did an incredible job in terms of rule of law, respecting right. But the problem is government, you don't get a cheerleader when you're doing well. You only come to news when you're doing bad.
Yes.
And then these are the missteps that sometimes derail most of the work they're doing, because that's what people remember, the bad.
The bad
and
ones.
then sometimes that's what my opinion and argument tend to show. This is what they need to learn from, and then make sure these mistakes don't happen. Because if you're doing so much good, and then we have moved progressively a lot, and then things as simple as the court asks you to do something. If you disagree with it, appeal.
Appeal it.
Everyone has a right.
Yeah.
If the court says don't do this, do it. And then if a mistake happened, I got to give so much credit to the Attorney General coming out and then admitting that an error happened. That was incredible.
But
now,
must it stop there? As the AG, must it stop there? Admit it. But what else could he have done?
Well, I don't think the AG can do anything.
But what else could he have done? Because we all know, even me who didn't go to law school, that was illegal. What else could he have said?
The AG admitted that much.
Yeah.
And then I saw that. But the way our institutions are structured, and I argued about this thing.
Yeah.
The police don't answer to the AG.
Yes.
And then I keep telling the Gambia, the AG is the chief law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
We have a mismatch. I keep saying we have a constitutional republic. We keep inheriting this British system.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The police answer to the IGP through the Interior Ministry.
Yeah.
And then the AG cannot command them, tell them what to do, and then his constitutional officer role is to advise the government.
Yeah.
That's all he can do.
Yeah.
At this point, I think the blame lies squarely on the National Assembly, who has the power to call these ministers, ask questions, and know what they are doing about it. The AG cannot punish any minister. And then I'm not justifying what happened, but I'm just saying that's the reality of people not reading and understanding what structures we have. I'm not going to blame the Attorney General for what happened. If Attorney General filed an incompetent appeal, I'm going to, blame him. Well, you should know better. That's your forte.
Yeah.
If police arrested someone after the court says otherwise, if the Attorney General did not condemn it or justify it, I'm going to have quip with that. But that's not what the Attorney General did. And then I think National Assembly is in a position to call them. But I know U.S. is different. We are a very litigious country.
Yeah.
But it also gives an opportunity to see a lot of things and learn. If I were in the Gambia, for Bora's case, for instance, there's a judgment. I read it on media houses.
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying they did not pay him. I'm going back to court to have that judgment enforced. We've seen in the U.S. where a court would say one thing and an executive would muscle back.
Yeah.
We'll go back to court for definitive answer. And then a classic case, I don't want to be recent, but let's go back in history, Brown v. Board of Education. Separate but equal. But later the court realized that they made a mistake. and then they asked for integration. And then states were slowing down intentionally. What did the court say? With all deliberate speed. That was the language. When Supreme Court of the United States spoke recently in the immigration case, because I don't want to get into policies,
Yeah.
what was the language they used? Facilitate the return. It happened. We are lawyers. We are first responders. It's not an accident. Shakespeare say, first kill all the lawyers. If you kill all the lawyers, rule of law is out, everyone can be a dictator. But lawyers have to be able to think outside the box and then use modern day solution to craft modern day problems. So the court say pay X. You don't pay X. You also pay tax. You know that.
Yeah.
The government also needs some things from me. I'm going back to court. One thing would happen. If I owe you $5, I don't want to pay you. And then you have my $10 you're supposed to give me. Well, you might want to withhold that. A trust. Yeah. So, lawyers have to be creative. They have to go. The answers are there. Go back to court. One of two things will happen. Either the judge would ask that the order be, the judgment be enforced. Nigeria, they have judgment that attack their embassy buildings in the UK. They have judgment. They lose their assets over there because people sue them, they don't pay, and then they perfect those things. You don't learn what we call secure transaction in law school. It's how you perfect some of these liens. Like in the US, you have a mortgage. Mm-hmm. Why do you think you have a lien on your house? Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things. The tools are there.
Yeah.
I just want Gambia and the legal industry to think outside just what's plainly superficial in front of them. You have to take a step back and then think. There's a lot of things that the lawyers could do here. I was reading on the news, I think one of the online medias, about a fatal tragic accident that happened.
Yeah.
Every time this is happening.
Yeah.
Even with the Aki case, something has been done about that. But how many times did one of the lawyers were like, enough is enough, I'm picking up. There is no gele-gele in Gambia or any commercial vehicle that doesn't have insurance on them. At minimum, it's a third-party liability.
Most of them is third party.
That's what I'm saying. At minimum, they have a third-party liability.
Yeah.
Third party only mean you don't have comprehensive and then collusion, meaning the insurance company doesn't get to pay your car, if you get into a wreck, or God forbid, it snows or rain comes, damage your car. That's what full coverage means. You have comprehensive and collusion. Mm-hmm. They don't pay for those things.
Yeah.
But if someone hit you, they're at fault, they can pay for that. But if you have third party liability, it protects any wrong you do. If you get into an accident, you're at fault, those third party are insured. That's what insurance companies pay. We have laws here. Supreme Court says so, even under common law. So why are lawyers not? Because you have to hit them where it hurts more. Because once insurance companies have to pay huge amount of settlement for this wrongful death, they are the first people that will run to National Assembly and make sure that policy changes happen. How do they do that? No one is going to get a driver's license without making sure that you meet the right requirement. There will be no backdoor driver's license. They would have point system where if you screw up, you lose your driver's license, you get suspended. You drink and drive. They would start enforcing because insurance companies want to make money. They're in the business of making money. Once their bottom line is threatened, they go to lawmakers to change those policies. U.S., the entire attorney population, only 5% of the U.S. attorney population are black, African American, all of us included. Mm-hmm. That's a minute number, 5%.
Yeah, 5%.
And then as fortunate and privileged enough to be part of that 5%, some of them, someone had to start somewhere, Justice Marshall and others, the civil rights movement, to make sure they paved the way so that I can immigrate from the Gambia, get over there, no one, no to dog on, only my name, credentials, and hard work open doors, because someone did that fight for me.
Yeah. To
make sure, in Oklahoma, the first black student to be integrated, I think, is in the 40s. They make him sit out, away from the other students. So you learn history to change it. That's what I wanted to see here, But there's a lot in the legal system that ought to change. Someone do something wrong. Oh, I don't take cases against Fatou Toure.
Yeah.
It's not personal. Oh, I don't take brief against this other one.
Yeah.
I don't get it. That's not how they teach me. Yeah. If there's a conflict, I understand that.
Yeah.
But if there's no conflict, you just making so a wrong is righted.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
But that's our society, right?
Yeah.
Even in our profession, when somebody happens, I remember something happening in our community in Lamen, and it's about somebody there, and my dad called, hey, Lamen, call on de, kana ko kacha ker fatu de, kana kacha. That's our society.
Yeah. So,
That's
in as much as we ask more of our government, the citizen must change too. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest question Gambia must face. Gambians as Gambian must change. And then at least we can still inculcate our culture, the good one, but drop the bad one. That's my belief. And then until we decide to do that, and I have said this 10 years ago, you could bring Obama here, nothing's going to change.
Nothing's going to change.
Yeah. So
it's about the mindset.
That's what I see. That's what I observe. For me, with the exception of Doi, and I put this, I talked about this, I don't think there's anything fundamentally different from any of these parties. The question is leadership.
Leadership.
Who is willing to be innovative? We grew up in the provinces, if you had, SIPs and others, someone do something, everyone follow.
Yeah.
When I was young, I don't even know what local government is. I don't even know it was a voted position.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to at least have some elementary education up to high school. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
That's how uninquisitive we are, as I explained earlier. We are not curious. I don't know any better. I just learned some of these things now. So I can only imagine other people, whether they understand the implication of this.
Yeah.
With all what is said, for instance, I'm not trying to endorse Talib here. I know he's a good brother. We met in Wisconsin, but for KMC or all this municipality, all the previous mayors, councillors, no one was able to think outside the box to understand that you can go for a certain arrangement and then have garbage trucks.
Yeah, PPP.
Talib was ambitious, and then he did that. And then the model he decided to do, everyone followed.
Yes.
Fatou is doing this program tomorrow. Every other one in TikTok wanted to do Fatou stick, because we don't want to be innovative.
Yeah.
Someone lead and everyone follows. That's my problem. So when I said that the parties are all the same, it's just leadership. Do you have the guy who is willing to be different, think different?
Think out of the box.
Yeah, to be a maverick. Talibu tried that, and it works. Brikama Area Council did the same thing. Banjul, but the model, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm not saying that Talibu doesn't have a monopoly on this, but someone else could come with another idea. That's what I want to see. He doesn't have a monopoly.
Yeah.
Why would I reinvent the wheel if Yankuba did something, it works? I'm going to do the same thing if it's going to help my people.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
People who will think out of the box.
Leadership is about, thinking outside the box, but you have to have a vision to be able to think outside the box.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And December elections is coming. Are you watching out?
I don't know. I don't think right now. My philosophy has been thinking.
Few months to elections.
I know I'm very.
Because you're very much.
I'm opinionated. I have certain, I believe in time limit, all that stuff. This is my thing. We're in an election season. Gambians should campaign vigorously. Everyone should campaign. Look at policies and priorities. Your bottom line, chicken table. What works for me? And hope you put everything there and then vote. The idea of, I don't think, if I vote here, that's a misvote, or it won't count, or my candidate is not strong. I don't want people to, I want Gambian to embrace the idea that I believe in, NPP, I'm voting for NPP. I believe in UDP, I'm voting for UDP. I'm not like, NPP is not going to win, I'm going to vote for this thing to neutralize. What you believe in, your conviction, do that way you could tell your kids, I vote for X because that's what I believe in. However, December 5th, a winner is announced. I also want Gambian to cultivate an attitude where, well, my best candidate did not win, but my position is no Gambian should ever pray or hope that the government fails, because it affects all of us. If elections are over, we are going to make sure you don't fail. How do you make sure of that? What you're supposed to do to help the government. If they make mistake, you tell them, hey, you're making mistake. This is not personal. Constructive criticism with recommendation. I'm not a theologist. I don't know much about Islam, but when Prophet ﷺ was asked, well, we know how to we know how to help. Yeah. But what if tell him the truth? Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Elections should not be over. You have a government, and every day is you want a politic. What are you contributing? So I've been seeing that a lot. Offer what you can do. Gambia did not teach me. No, realistically, Gambia gave me foundation. It gave me discipline. It gave me morals. And I used that in the US. But one thing it did not teach me is to understand that education is a privilege to make your environment better. And then I didn't know that until when I arrived in the US. I was in New York. I got a project in one of my classes to go back to Bronx and then see what I need to bring to my councilman. That's when I know, these councils, they are voted in. I struck up. So my professor asked me, I did not see it, but I was like, oh, there's nothing over there. Because Gambia never taught me about that these people works for me. They're supposed to solve my problem.
Yeah.
And then she laughed. You live in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Like there's a million problems over there. Now I realize what she meant.
Yeah.
So that was a classic example. And it's like, what's the most you want to change? I was like, well, where I have to cross the street, that intersection, it's very dangerous. Like, well, you need a stop sign. And then I face that every day in traffic, some areas where dangerous crossing point, So, but it got me thinking. And then I realized that, it's okay to want to do better, provide for your children, but I want to make sure I contribute positively. How many lives have I changed? How many people I help in that sense? So me being opinionated, it's my way of giving back. If I understood something, I want to opine on it. If policymakers pick up, that's fine. That's my way of giving back. If I can mentor a young Gambian or help, find school or do something, that's the way of helping as part of in your country. You see someone doing something wrong, you reach out to them. Sometimes I'll reach out to some people, discreetly, hey, brother, I disagree with you on this thing.
Yeah.
And then some of them are like, okay, how should I do better? Some would be responsive. Some would be like, okay, whether they respond or not, but at least I made the effort, because if I did not try, the answer is always no. If I try, whether you said no or no, but at least it also tell me how I interact with you. And then if you're in a position of power or public office, I always heed to that. If I see you looking for something, I'm like, okay, I interacted with you in the past. I see your speed. Why should I vote for you? Why am I convinced that, or if you're associated with someone and then that's how you're thinking, I'm like, well, if I see your principal, I'll be like, I don't know whether your junior, this is what they're doing. I don't approve of that. And then if it's part of your team, I'm worried.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. So I think that's what I want to see from Gambians too.
Finally, this is my final questions. I know they're signaling me. Through all of this, public defender, working government, a judge, with all of this, how were you able to stay focused, disciplined, and just so humbled, I must say, throughout all of this stuff? I mean, if you don't Google you or just go through Facebook and all, you wouldn't even know there's a Sarjo Barrow there who's working in government in these high positions. You kept it so low profile and humble, and how did you do that? And just being focused all these years. No flashy life, no big cars, all,
Yeah.
How?
Well, I'm fortunate for my family. And then I have good people around me. I think your environment determines who you are.
Yeah.
And I'm very much proud of where I came from. And then I understand that I came from a humble beginning. I don't have to try to impress anyone. If something don't make sense for me, I don't do it.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay with what I am and then who I am. And then I have great friends who keep me grounded. And then I'm fortunate to have a sister who set a very good example, even in education. We keep teasing her that she's the black sheep. She's not intelligent, she's just hardworking. That's why she achieved.
Yeah.
For us who are a little bit gifted, some of us, we don't put too much effort.
Is that Kadi?
Yeah, that's
Kadi.
Shout
out Kadi. Yes.
And then I have uncles who read a lot. And then at home, we have a platform where we'll opine, disagree respectfully. So that helps. But I have incredible friends around me. I know a lot of people, but I have a very close circle that I talk to. But I'm also fortunate enough when I got married, and then I have a wife that also keep me grounded.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like when I first get into my office, like some of the judges or even I got to work with my backpack, come back with that every day. That's what I, they could not fathom or understand why I don't have those pictures. And like, do you understand what you're like? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I earn it. I know I work for it. And then it's not be and all. That's not what I want to, because I'm very much driven. I always have like, yeah, I want to try new things, you know. But at the end of the day, those things don't matter. It's the people. And then I love home. When I go to work, I'm always eager to come home, even though I'm working when I'm home.
Yeah.
But I like home. That's where I'm at my best. You know, with my families, talking with my friends. I enjoy those smaller things. I don't want the status. It doesn't do anything. But if I can have a conversation with someone who doesn't know me, many times I'll walk into a courtroom. I remember before, even before I ascend to the bench, I'll come in, hey, go over, defendants go this way, criminal court. Yeah, and then I'll come with three-piece suit, and then they will do that. Or they will mistake me for an interpreter because, no, there's no way I could be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, especially come with an accent and all those things. And then even when I became a judge, sometimes some of the security recognized me, they would know, and they were like, those kind of things. But it humbles you. And then I want people to reach out to me to have a genuine conversation rather than see the title. And then I know one of my mentor told me, as usual, like, you will never be able to seek this prenominal. Once you become a judge, you can never seek that prenominal. It's a judge, honorable, you don't know who is pandering to you, or, you know, but I'm grateful for my friends. They see me for what I am.
Yeah.
They disagree with me. And then sometimes I think we all need a tribe, because it's therapeutic in the sense that we, you know, like there will be difficulties, difficult moment. But one thing in the United States that kept me more grounded, and I think, is faith. Whatever that is, if you have faith, I think it make everything much easier. Yeah, I think for me, unbelievably, Islam gave me that, and then whatever happened, you take it with a little bit of humility. It's a test.
Yeah.
But I think that's the bigger picture, because once you understood that, you understand it's nothing.
Nothing else.
And then I've seen people who have done way more, and then but the only thing I want to make out of it is if I can help the immediate people and then help other people, aspire them, the power of representation. The first time I saw a black judge in court before I became a judge in San Francisco, but it was a different feeling. Yeah, she was a female, and then she was in Nigeria. I had to Google her and check, and then she said, she was like, I am so privileged for this position. But for me, I saw myself in her. I project the idea that this is possible.
Yeah.
And then when I ascended to the bench, there was one Nigerian who was there. He was a mentor. He retired. And then there's another one from Kenya that was there. And then one man from Haiti. So these are the only brothers. So like, we all know each other, literally. So that was something before Judge Williams retired, because he was on the bench since '93. Wow. So he was, that guy, he's amazing. Yeah. So I'll talk to him. But the power of representation. So wherever we are in our stations, I think we have to give back, because someone is looking at you and thinking that it's possible. Yeah.
What is the next chapter for
Sarjo?
That will
come soon.
Coming home soon?
In due time.
Oh, wow. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Can we foresee you in the bench?
Yeah. I'm very driven. Let's just say.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sarjo Barrow, for being our first guest on the Chapters with Fatou Toure. Yeah. Hopefully somebody is inspired. Hopefully somebody is watching this show and just say, I want to be the next Sarjo Barrow, or even more. Hopefully a young immigrant out there is able to learn from this story and navigate their ways through the streets of New York, in the Bronx, to somewhere in California, and maybe in Washington, D.C., doing more and flying the Gambian flag higher. Because these are the stories we try to portray in the show, to be able to tell Gambian stories that will inspire and encourage and motivate people that are struggling. There are so many people right now in the U.S. who are struggling to go through the immigration processes, people that are struggling to put meals on the table, people who want to go to school but they're thinking about their families back home. Hopefully somebody's watching in this program and get inspired by how your mom had to shelve some of her needs
Yeah.
to encourage you to go to school, because most of us cannot do that because we have families to support back home. But hopefully somebody listens to this and say, look, I just want to be that mother who will tell my son, you go to school and I'm going to battle it out here so that tomorrow can be much better. These are the stories we try to portray. And thank you so much for being our first guest. I remember in 2017 we started, you were also one of our first guests.
That is true.
And that show was supposed to be just a show. It turned out to be a platform. You know, Kirfatu, I tell people, Kirfatu was just a show.
Yes.
It was not supposed to be a platform. It was a show that, you know, we wanted to bring on GRTS, and we opened a page for it. Yeah. And here today, it gave birth to over 7 shows.
A household name.
That's how the name came. That's why my own show is called Kirfatu, because that was the show.
Yes.
And that's what the platform carried. And hopefully this show also can give birth to so many other things. Thank you very much for being our first guest, Sarjo.
Thank you. And then I want to thank your viewers. And then, well, everyone should support the media. Yeah. And then I always say that it's important for the state. Yeah. And then most of the research I do, I'll be scrambling on your website to see what are there. So people should do that and then understand that media is important. Yeah. And then in making sure the democracy we want, the Gambia we want, we achieve it. Yeah. And then most importantly, this is the only request I'm going to make from the One Marina Parade. Yeah. What I want to see is you brought this on the Ministry of Justice. I want to see the AG chambers to transform. I don't want folks working over there to think of it as a law firm. That's an institution. I know this because I work inside an institution. I work at DOJ, I work at DHS. These are the state prosecutors. They are the door. And I want everyone to aspire to work over there, because it should be the cream. It should be the standard, period. Yeah. And then you come out of the Attorney General's office, you walk into any courtroom, you should have a currency, credibility currency. And then they should command respect when they speak, and then judges should pause and understand that they speak with authority and law. That's what I want to see over there. And then we can achieve that without investing in them, giving them tools, rearranging some of the law if we have to make sure it attracts the best of the best. Because if we have the best there, the rest will work easy. If you don't want prices to be too expensive, you don't want sub-owners to be fixing prices, you want to have a functioning Attorney General's office where they have the money, the resources to fight against antitrust, price fixing, to go after corporations that are messing up our ozones. To get it has to work. Yeah. That's an institution. And then that's what I want to see over there. Same way, if you hear that the U.S. Attorney's Office is coming after you, you felt like like the sky is falling. I want it to resonate that way too. And then that's the institution everyone should be proud of. And hopefully it could get there. And then that's what I would want the government to focus over there. You get that right, most of the reform would be right. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sarjo, for an interesting and intriguing conversation. Hopefully next month we have another interesting guest. Like I said, it's going to be just 12 episodes in a year. So the most interesting stories from Gambians across the world we will be telling on the next chapter with Fatou Toure. See you again next month. Bye-bye to you all. Thank you.
Ñatimbu ntemu APS leti ntemu APS leti APS Gambia le mu APS ti katun APS is 100% Gambian
bari ñatimbu ete ku furi mbala kentala di ke ñatimbu ndari taba futu wola at least ya fonte ko APS min kullo balbiji imo fon fonya fon ka fonya ko ibina do ibodo ko APS jam fane mo fana fonya ñatimbu yo min fo yenda sija ndanga moyno ko APS wallet isa ko do kino min tata fo wuli muan ime caaji fenna wala nta sindi jang
akko ñatimbu ngoy ko kabo transuto kata wala fo wuli muan ite fenne dola womu zero filete bitun kabo wo 20,000 la ka selesan eke tamuna eke caaji na fo abuka fensi
oui
1% da malam lati
wota yara gamen no be nyanta wala kana APS wala tele mobile ko do ki ibadi ngol
yaade ni APS kabrin nan credit ko to bare men ko mayata be wala fango kas pawat ni suto be during suto be dibini abe tema biti kol sonda ila APS mobile lo sika ni asika to ya safe da men ko fen ko atondi nawek ha ni oto je nyamendo tachi ama ni ama doro abanta ila kas power isa hawasima ajibe free joriti je
oto mbade ngameno albe sito ulle fisiyata alna leta APS wallet yela lambay lokon APS wallet nyaata doro barin koto nim fata do suko kon to
dañu defo no le mol nyaala jam nim fata do suko kon mbafale
basiti je mbita ndo register je de katu sa APS 100% namum
APS 100% Gambia 100%.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundung. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220 941414 BC's Residence at gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundung, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.